Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited for today's video. I did miss the month of April, so I'm excited to get back into my Shop My Stash series for the month of May. And if you're unfamiliar with what Shop My Stash means, it essentially just means I'm going to be shopping through my own makeup collection, creating a stash of products that I want to focus on throughout the month of May. So if you are interested in seeing what products I will be selecting, as well as recapping the products that I've been working on the last 2 months at this point, then stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content, shop my stashes, palette themed content, or just chit-chatting about makeup, that's what we do over on this channel, so I hope you'll consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to give this video a like and leave a comment down below, or do anything else the YouTube algorithm loves for you to do. I would really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, you guys, before we get into it, I'm very excited that this portion of today's video is sponsored by Louisa, which is one of my absolute favorite brands to work with and one of the brands that I have been working with the longest. And I'm really excited because today I get to talk to you about their Mother's Day sale. And the necklace that I'm wearing is actually my oldest Louisa necklace, and likely, I think, my favorite. I love all of my necklaces, and I honestly have so many, but I have my mama necklace on in honor of Mother's Day because I just love. I was so excited. I remember, I don't think I took my mama necklace off probably for like a full year when I first got it. Absolutely love this necklace. It is still intact. There's definitely some hair stuck in the back because my hair gets stuck to everything. It's still intact. It doesn't look tarnished. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. And it's just still one of my favorite necklaces to this day. So if you're unfamiliar with Louisa, they are a long-lasting, sustainable, water-resistant, hypoallergenic jewelry brand. They have so many different pieces to choose from. It's crazy to think about. I think the first time I worked with them was in 2020, I believe. Either that or 2021. It's crazy how much they're how many more jewelry pieces they have to offer. There is definitely something for everyone, and as a mom myself, I know jewelry is honestly such a good gift. Their pieces start at just $39 and they have fast shipping to anywhere in the US. I can honestly say I usually get my jewelry within 2 days of purchasing. I have not only worked with Louisa, but I have bought jewelry myself. I have also bought gifts for other people because I literally, I'm telling you guys, I love their jewelry so much. They have a 2-year warranty on all of their jewelry, so you can try them risk-free. And right now they are running a site-wide sale of 25% off for Mother's Day. So as I mentioned, I do have my mama necklace on, but this is my oldest piece of jewelry. My newest jewelry I've got these earrings, and I was so excited about these. I was searching for earrings on Amazon probably around the holidays, and I was searching for an earring shape like this. I feel like this is a bit of a trendy shape right now. Maybe I'm behind on the trend. Maybe this was 6 months ago, but I just love these. I feel like they're bold without being a big hoop. Do you know what I mean? Especially at the office when my hair is up, I feel like this just honestly elevates my style so much. Sometimes I get so bored. I'm not a very stylish person. I live in athleisure outside of work, and sometimes I get so bored with just my sweater and my dress pants, and I'm like, okay, I feel like this just this brings a little bit of a level of fun to an outfit. And I will also say I don't always have the most fun with clothing style, but I do have fun accessorizing with jewelry. I feel like that's where I have fun with what I'm wearing. So these are called the Kiara earrings, and my other newest piece are these earrings, which you may have seen me wearing in a few videos. These are the Ash double earrings, and these are fun because you could wear them as a double, or you can literally take this piece off and just wear it as a single hoop too. Again, just something fun and not too bold, but also adds a level of fun to an outfit. You guys also know how much I love my rings. All of these, with the exception of this one, which I got in Florida, are from Louisa. I could not pick a favorite. But I do really love my snake ring. I will say that. But I have so many other rings from Louisa that I also love so much. I can honestly say from experience that their jewelry, I've never had any tarnishing or quality issues, and I have worn, like I said, I wore this for almost a year straight, swam with it, wore it in the shower, all of the things. I just had the necklace that I took off this morning was also from Louisa, and I've been wearing that straight. I had that on in Florida. I went in the ocean with it. I swam in the salt water. I don't have issues with quality. I never have with a single piece that I've owned. I've been working with them for 5 years at this point. I think it goes without saying. But I absolutely love their brand and fully believe in the quality of their products. So I will leave a link down below in case you are interested in shopping. That is just a link for you guys to shop through. I don't make any sort of commission off that. And like I said, they have a site-wide sale of 25% off of everything right now in honor of Mother's Day. So I truly believe there's no better time to buy than now. If you yourself own a piece from Louisa, let us know what your favorite pieces are in the comments down below. And without further ado, let's get into the rest of the video. Okay, with my Shop My Stashes, each month I pull in products that I brought into my makeup collection a year ago this time. I do a makeup rehab series on my channel where I talk about the ins and outs of my makeup collection, so any beauty products brought in and all of my empties. So I have some products that came into my collection last May. I will say I obviously didn't post to Shop My Stash in April. That would have been my Sephora VIP sale haul, but a lot of those products I did have pulled out even though I didn't film the video, and I was kind of testing those products again, seeing if I still felt like they had a place in my collection. And I did do a whole worth the purchase video talking about those products in case you're interested in seeing that. After we go through the products that came into my collection a year ago, we will then get into all the products that I was focused on the last 2 months, and we will end with the actual shopping of my stash. So let's start with the PR that came in last May. Kaja did send over all, I believe it was 6 shades in their dewy bars, and I have 2 left. So I have the shade Cranberry Cooler, which I used all of the time when I got these last year. I was constantly reaching for these. I actually brought these with me to Vegas and accidentally like let it sit out where the window was hitting it, so it did melt a bit. Kind of looks a little sketchy, but I thought these were so easy to use and I really enjoyed them. If I didn't say, the other shade that I have is Peach Cobbler, which is a fun kind of sunburny sort of shade. So I will be pulling these back in. I honestly reached for these a lot, I feel like last May, June, and then I kind of put these away and haven't reached for them since. So I'm really excited to pull these back out. And then also What's Up Beauty sent me 3 of their lipsticks and 2 of their eyeliners, their liquid eyeliners this time last year. I only have 1 lipstick left. I did give the other 2 to my mom and sister. I let them each have a shade. And the shade that I have is Sibo, which is actually a shade that I'm working on in one of my project pans. And this is a really beautiful shade, but I feel like it's perfect for me to be pulling it out this time of year, or pulling it out because it goes right alongside my project pan. This is like my perfect nude lip color. I love like a nudie pink. Honestly, this is maybe a little bit more mauve-y and a little bit less browny than I typically would go for, but I have really enjoyed reaching for this the few times that I have for my project pan, and I'm excited to continue to reach for this. I also love the blue packaging. And then I only have 1 of the liquid liners that I got from them last year. It's the black one, and this is more of like a true liquid liner. It's not like a pen. There it is, swatched right there. I think I've only reached for this a couple of times, but funny note, I actually did. I think I'm gonna have to retire my Hindash liner as of today. It's really getting dried out, so I honestly, like, perfect timing, perfect timing. I prefer like a pen style rather than like a true liquid, so I'm curious to see how I feel about this. I'm curious to see, and I'm curious to see if this is something I want to continue to have in my collection after like giving it a truly fair go. So we'll see about that. And then the only other PR thing is Lawless had sent over a couple of lip products, one of them being the maple sugar lip. Oh my gosh, Lawless, forget the filler. We know this is my favorite lip gloss formula. Maple sugar came with me to a hockey game recently, and I have not a clue where it is, which makes me really sad. I hope it's at work. It might be at work. Makes me sad because I'm like, that was gonna be an empty soon. So I pulled out the next closest shade to it in my opinion, which is the shade George. And this is more of kind of like a brownie nude sort of shade. I'm actually really excited. I feel like this is the perfect focus shade for this month. I love a brownie nude lip. So we're pulling George out, and if I find maple sugar, I will also focus on that. Then we get into the products that I purchased myself this time last year, and up first I have not this shade. Okay, I'm definitely missing the actual shade, so hopefully I can find it. I'm like, where is it? Okay, hopefully I can find it. The actual shade is Golden Dolly. It's one of the Buxom lip glosses. I believe it's a full-on plumping lip polish gloss. I know it's in the shade Golden Dolly, which is this really beautiful kind of warm pink and golden sort of shade. I love the Buxom lip glosses. I would say they rank up there. Like Lawless, Forget the Filler, and Buxom are like my 1 and 2. So I'm always excited for an excuse to reach for a Buxom or a Lawless lip gloss. Last time this year, I also repurchased the Kosas Feathery Cloud Set powder, and I reach for this powder just about every single day. So I'm already using this. I used it as my all over setting powder today. I will continue to use this. I'm curious to see like how much more time I have with this. I'm definitely like really wearing the product away, but I've panned this in the past in a project, so I know that, and I remember it taking so much longer to pan than I thought it would. I absolutely would purchase this again when I finish this. It is my favorite pressed powder for me and my skin personally. I also purchased the Supergoop Protect tint. I purchased the darker shade because I had already purchased the lighter shade, loved this and wanted the darker one so that I could wear it during the summer. I brought this with me to Florida and remembered how much I love this formula. Sometimes I think in my mind with skin tints, like, oh, it's gonna slip and slide and it's gonna get stuck in my forehead lines. This actually lasts such a good amount of time, such good wear time with this, and I'll have no problem getting some use out of my Supergoop Protect tint. And then the only other product as a focus product for this month is the the Feeling Cheeky Blush Duo from Give Beauty, and this is in the shade Stars Aligned, which should be such an easy blush duo to reach for because it is a really beautiful, just like nude pink blush duo. I love a nude blush, and honestly, I feel like I bought this and just it didn't get as much love as I thought it would last year, especially because I was so into a nude blush last year. So I'm actually really excited to pull this back out, especially because I've been appreciating a glowy blush more, and I feel like I can get a lot of use mixing these two shades together. So those are all the things I'm pulling in as a focus product for the month of May. Now let's get into the actual, not the Shop My Stash yet, let's get into the products that I have been semi-focused on throughout the last 2 months. I will say this past month, I've mostly been using the products that I hauled during this year's Sephora VIB sale haul, so that I could get my full thoughts on the products. But we'll still go through my drawers, see what was in there, see what I was wanting to use, see if I did use anything. Maybe I'll leave some things in, maybe I'll pull some things out, and then we'll actually shop my stash. So let's get into that now. Okay, for my shop my stash, we're going to start just on the top of my desk. This is where I get ready, and this has changed just a little bit since the last time I filmed a shop my stash. So over here in this makeup organizer, I have all of my makeup products that I'm working on in a project pan. There's a couple of just random products, like that Kaleidos liquid lipstick is random. I have both of my Danessa Myricks Groundworks palettes because I use those more as like a makeup tool, so I like to have those on my desk every single day. Majority of this though is products that I'm working on in project pans. Over here are new makeup products that I am still in the process of testing. So the majority of the products over there are products that I've hauled during the most recent Sephora VIB sale. You'll also see my makeup rehab coming, where there's a couple more products trickling in as well. In this area right here, I have just kind of some random like glowy products. I have like my Drunk Elephant drops, my Say drops. I have a couple liquid highlights. Kind of random. Behind it is a lot of face palettes, and then up here, this used to be all of my lipsticks, but I rarely reach for my lipsticks, so I kind of wanted to switch this to like my most reached for, some of my most reached for lip glosses. So I have all of my Lawless Forget the Fillers. I have some of my favorite like Benefit colored lip products, my Gisou lip oils, my Buxom lip products. This oh my gosh, these, what are these? The new ones from Makeup Forever, which I'm literally obsessed with. So that is what is on top of my desk. I'm gonna quickly go through the face palettes. So I have the NARS Orgasm. I don't want to be showing. Okay, this came with me to Florida, which Florida was over a month ago, but I haven't filmed an updated Shop My Stash in 2 months, basically. I use this so much in Florida, and I actually ended up using like pretty much the entirety of the palette. I really ended up enjoying this bronzer shade, which I hadn't used as a bronzer before, but it's such a beautiful red tone bronzer. So when I actually had like a sunburn, I just felt like it flattered me so much. I'm gonna put this away for right now simply because I've used it so much, but this is something I will probably pull out for all June, July, and August. This is an old MAC palette that I depotted, and it looks really disgusting. There's like a depotted lip gloss, a depotted Westman Atelier highlighter that I'm trying to get through, and then the bottom left hand corner is the shade Bloom out of the ABH Sultry palette. I do want to get through the two disgusting looking things up top, and then I'll clean this out again, but I would never reach for this unless it was sitting right here, so I'm going to keep that pulled. This is the Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette. Okay, I didn't reach for this at all, and I do want to keep this pulled simply because I've been liking a more simple eyeshadow look from day to day, and I really think that this is something that just really suits what I'm going for on a day-to-day basis. I just need to remember that I have this pulled and actually reach for it, so that'll stay. I also want to keep this pulled. This is the Lunar Beauty Moon Prism palette. This is one of the face palettes that I attribute to being one of the reasons that I really enjoy face palettes now, but I only ended up reaching for this like 1 to 2 times that I can think of. I love the shade Soleil down in the bottom left, and I also feel like Gravity. Honestly, I just really like all of these shades. So I want to reach for this. I'm gonna reach for like all of the shades at least 2 times before I put this back. So I'm gonna keep that pulled, and then I will put back this one from NARS. This is the Exposed face palette. This is what this one looks like. I do feel like I've reached for this quite a bit this entire year, so I should put this back and show some of my other face palettes some love. And then I do always keep my Hourglass finishing powder palette pulled just because I like to reach for that pretty frequently. So that's everything on top of the desk. I think this drawer is the only drawer that's like changed at all. And I do still have, I have lip liners in here, the ones that I want to focus on. I have all of my colored eyeliners, and then I have some other just like YouTube-y things in here. So that's what's in this drawer. We're going to keep that the same. This drawer is pretty empty. Usually this houses my concealer and foundation, but again, it's been 2 months. Things I feel like have kind of just ended up everywhere. I am going to keep my KVD Dazzle Stick pulled. You know, I've been liking a simpler eye, and so this is something that I really enjoy. The Phytosurgence Phyto Glow Lip Balm. I feel like I'm getting close to finishing this, and I told myself I need to finish 5 lip products before I'm allowed to buy anything else for the lips. And so I feel like this is one of my best shots. I actually really do enjoy this formula, and this shade is a really beautiful pink. The Dior Forever Skin Glow Foundation. I actually don't feel like I really reached for this much at all, simply because I have a ton of new foundations I brought into my collection the last 2 to 3 months, so I've kind of been focused on those. So I actually am going to keep Dior Forever Skin Glow pulled. This is one of my older foundations in my collection at this point, and so I do also have a new Dior foundation. So honestly, like, now I feel like I don't have to feel guilty for reaching for this, because even if I do finish that, I don't have to immediately go out and repurchase, because I do have another Dior foundation that I really love and enjoy. So I'm going to keep this pulled in this drawer, and then I do just have like tools over here as well. Okay, and then the final drawer before we get into the actual shopping of the stash. This has bronzer, blush, highlight. There's kind of a lot happening here. The 2 Makeup by Mario powders, I'm going to keep both of those pulled. I have the pink and the peach now. I will put back, yes, I'm going to put back the Gucci bronzer. This is in the shade 3. I will pull this back out probably like, honestly, probably probably July, when my summer tan hopefully is going pretty strong. But right now I feel like that's a little too dark for me. I think I'm actually going to keep my Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer pulled. I might try and put this up. Okay, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it kind of fits right there. And I'm going to put my Blooming palette back. I will keep the Groundworks that I use every day, but I feel like that just stores better there. All right, oh, I also have one more matte or powder bronzer. The Hoola bronzer I'm also gonna put back for the time being. For cream bronzer, I'm gonna put back my Merit. I've reached for this one quite a bit. This is a really, really beautiful sheer bronzer. Honestly, perfect for every day or on days that I'm not wearing foundation. This really is perfect, but I am really getting close to finishing my Rare Beauty bronzing stick, so I would like to focus on finishing this up. I feel like this is like an unofficially trying to pan product. I'm gonna keep that pulled, and then on days that I do want something a little bit lighter, just because this one is just a little bit darker, I will keep the Fenty cream bronzer pulled. I think I've only reached this like 1 or 2 times since pulling it in, so I'd like to get more use on that. Okay, for blush, I'm going to put back my Hourglass blush in Sublime. I feel like I've reached for this one a pretty good amount of times this year. I really enjoy this blush. It's not something I'm like trying to decide whether or not I want to keep or not. It is really pretty, and I think this would be a pretty shade for both spring and summer. This is something that maybe I'll pull back out again, maybe like July time, but I've used this a lot, and there's definitely some blushes in my collection that have been getting neglected that deserve a little bit more love. I'm going to keep my Bare Minerals bronzer in the shade Kiss of Copper pulled. I don't think I reached for this at all, and I do feel like this is a really fun blush. Actually, I might put back Kiss of Copper for May, just because this is something I see myself reaching for more in like June, July, August. I do have Kiss of Pink, which maybe I could pull for May, but for Kiss of Copper, I'm going to put back for now. All right, of all the powder blushes pulled, I feel like this is one of the ones that has gotten the most use. This is Persona Georgia. I think this is a really, really beautiful peachy coral shade. I really want to keep this pulled just because, like, I really like it. It's not totally matte, which is definitely like more my vibe, but I've reached for this so much. I definitely should show some of my other blushes some love. I am going to keep pulled my Rare Beauty kind of blush topper. This is in the shade Cheer. This is so beautiful layered on top of other matte blushes, maybe that I want to add a bit of a glow to. That's what I like this blush most for. And I don't feel like I got a ton of use out of this while it was pulled, so I'll keep this in rotation. Okay, other things I'm going to put back. I'm going to put back Buxom Seychelles. This is... Actually, I don't feel like I reached for Buxom Seychelles a lot. I do plan to do like swatching all of my blushes and doing a declutter. I'm curious how this compares to some of my other neutral blushes, just because this blush is getting so old in my collection. I want to keep this pulled for this rotation, use it on my cheeks, see if I still think the quality is there. So hopefully that'll help make a determination later if I want to keep this. Then we have NARS Behave, which is a really neutral blush. Okay, I'm holding the camera with one hand, so it makes getting a good focus kind of hard. But I swatched Buxom Seychelles against NARS Behave. You can see the glow from Buxom Seychelles, and then there's NARS Behave on top. Obviously, they are very different. Okay, Buxom Seychelles is so pretty, but it's looking more like a true highlighter now. Anyway, NARS Behave, I reached for a couple of times. I feel like I want to put this back because I feel like this is kind of similar to some of the blushes in the Moon Prism face palette, and I'd rather get more use out of a face palette at the moment. This is something I know I will keep. Again, it's not some... I am kind of unofficially chopping block all of my makeup products this year, really trying to focus on them as I pull them into rotation and think about whether or not I truly need them in my collection. This is not something I feel like is currently on the chopping block and needs more testing. I do enjoy this blush. I just feel like I'm going to be reaching for maybe more pink or colorful cheeks in May, so that can be put away. My old Kosas duo. This is in the shade Papaya. I really enjoy this as well, especially for like, again, a glowy kind of coral shade. Obviously, I really enjoyed the highlight or the blush topper in here. We have a pan in that. I reached for this a little bit, but I actually do feel like this will be a good one for the month of May. Like, it's not quite so sunburny that I feel like it'd be better suited to June, July, August. I feel like this is a little bit lighter and might be more, honestly, May appropriate. So maybe I'll keep the Kosas pulled. I've got the Fenty Cream Blush in Strawberry Drip. This came with me to Florida. I reached for this a couple of times, and this is something I feel like is better suited towards, again, June, July, August. I'm gonna put that back. I will keep my Makeup by Mario Earthy Pink Cream Blush pulled. I don't think I reached for this at all. I've kept this in because I feel like I'm so close to finishing up this Say Dewy Blush in the shade Baby. I've taken the stopper out. I honestly feel like the pigment on this might be changing, or maybe it's just because there's so little product left in this. Ooh. I think I'm gonna... Or do I want to try and pull this for a project pan? I'm gonna set this in my makeup organizer with my projects pan stuff, so it's like an unofficially trying to pan product. Then I have the shade, I think this is Rosy. This is the shade Rosy. I honestly don't think I reached for this even one time, so I will keep that pulled. And then this is Lawless Gumdrop, which is kind of like a flower petal pink. I don't believe I reached for this at all either, but this is not really the vibe that I feel like I'll be going for in May, so I actually am gonna put this back. And then in terms of highlights, I'm gonna put back my Vesca highlight. I've reached for this so much the last like year or so. I brought this with me to Florida. I've reached for this a lot. It's definitely gotten love. I will pull this back out at some point in the summer, but as of right now, that can be put back. I'll also put back my Rare Beauty Mesmerize. Very intense, very beautiful highlight, but I did reach this quite a bit in the last 2 months, so I feel like I should pull something else out. I am going to keep the Westman Atelier highlighting stick in the shade Parla pulled. I think I only reached for this like twice, so it definitely did not get the love that it deserves. That can stay. Then we have, I think, Ofra Milk and Cookies, which I honestly cannot even remember if I reached for this one time. So I will keep this pulled. Again, a very intense highlight, but I have been enjoying a bit more of an intense highlight. So I'll keep that pulled. I will put back my Milk Makeup highlight in the shade Blitzed. Will I though? Actually, I feel like I should keep this one pulled because this one, I feel like I'm trying to decide if I want to keep this or not. And I definitely don't feel like I reached for this at all. Maybe I'll put back ABH Amrezy at this time then. I didn't really reach for this one. However, this is not something I would declutter, so I'm not really trying to decide if I want to keep this or not. This is a beautiful highlight. I could definitely pull this back out again, June, July, or August. So I kind of want to get my thoughts for the Milk Makeup. I'll keep these two highlights pulled and we'll put back Amrezy for now. Okay, we are officially finally ready to shop my stash. On top, we have my foundation collection. A lot of these are newer foundations. I'm definitely pulling the IT Cosmetics CC Nude Glow because I need to decide if this is something that I want to keep in my collection. So this I'm definitely pulling. I also just want to finish this up. This is the Tula Radiant Skin Brightening Serum Skin, like the SPF. But honestly, these two will mix well together because this, I think, is a little bit too dark. So I'm definitely pulling those two. What else do I want to pull? I think I'll actually pull, I need something that's gonna like match me. I think I'll also pull the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. This is getting to be one of the older foundations in my collection. I honestly should pull this one from Clinique as well. I do have something that I'm trying to pan in my project pan, and this honestly is gonna match me better when I do have a bit more of a tan. Same thing with this one from Lancome, but I would like to get these pulled. I'll hopefully pull these two beginning of June, but maybe I'll just have these three be my focus for May. Putting this back. Actually, I think maybe the only other thing I will will pull is the REM Beauty, just because this one's the lighter of all of them. This one works really well for work for me. If I need to mix, I can, but then I'm really hoping to truly just keep what I'm reaching for, unless it's obviously like an event of some kind. I really want to keep it to just focusing on these foundations. Okay, into the primer and powder drawer. I want a gripping, a hydrating, and a pore filling primer. For pore filling, I'm going to pull the Peace Out Instant Pore Perfector simply because I just want to get use out of this and try my best to finish this up this year. My sister gave this to me. This is not something I'd purchase again, but it does a nice job of filling the pores, so it's not something I'm going to declutter. I think the only like truly gripping primer I have at the moment, other than like I have my Milk Makeup gripping primer that I just bought, is the e.l.f. Jelly Pop. We're getting close to finishing this up as well. I will at the end of June post like a mid-year makeup empties, and I do not have a lot of empties to share so far, which is so different than the last 5 or 6 years. So I think I'm gonna pull e.l.f. Jelly Pop, and my goal will be to have this done by the end of June. It's gonna be so sad because I love this primer and you can't get this anymore, but I'm gonna pull e.l.f. Jelly Pop and we'll try and use that up. And then I think for my hydrating, I'm kind of between the Bare Minerals and the Glossier Future Dew. Ooh! I'm gonna save Glossier Future Dew for June, because I think I'm just gonna be wanting to glow to the heavens in June. And I think I'm gonna go with the Bare Minerals Prime Hydrate and Glow Primer for this month. And then for powders, I'm not gonna pull any powders. I have my What's Up Beauty, I have my Bare Minerals pressed powder, but right now I'm trying to work my way through. I reach for my Kosas Cloud Set every single day. I think as a birthday gift to myself, I might buy the new pressed Givenchy powder, and I prefer my Makeup by Mario. My Makeup by Mario, I think, is just a little bit lighter and not quite as heavy. Not that this looks heavy underneath the eyes, but Nakia Joy, I'm gonna save for maybe fall, winter. I'll focus on it a little bit more. I definitely will pull it again, but right now I'm just enjoying my, or should I maybe pull the Nakia Joy and replace it with the Makeup by Mario Pink? Actually, maybe I'll do that just to get a little bit more use out of this. Okay, we're pulling Nakia Joy, but that's it for the powders. Okay, next drawer we have bronzers and concealers. I'm so close to being done with my LYS concealer, and then I'm gonna move on to Tower 28. I don't wanna like bog myself down with concealer, but I think it's been a bit since I've reached for the Natasha Denona, so maybe on the days, whoops, that I'm wanting something truly full coverage, I will grab Natasha Denona. And then for bronzer, I do have some new bronzers that I'm working on. Is this gonna work for me at the moment? I feel like this is like I need to wait at least one more month to pull that. I honestly feel like I have my Charlotte Tilbury still pulled too. My Charlotte Tilbury not highlighter, powder and cream. So I think I want to pull my Chanel cream bronzer. I want to pull this, but I actually think that's the only other bronzer I'm going to pull. Otherwise, we're going to call it good for bronzer. Oh my gosh. Moving on to the most overwhelming of the categories, we have blush. Okay, I think I'm definitely going to reach for Nabla Truth. I love this for adding a glow to the skin. And like I said, more and more, I've been loving just a glowier complexion overall. I also want to grab Patrick Tas Not Too Much. I bought this end of last year and I was so excited for it, but then barely reached for it. And I feel like this would be perfect for just day-to-day like work. So we'll pull that. I did say I wanted to pull Kiss of Pink by Bare Minerals, so I will grab for this. Okay, my camera is currently focusing on the Melt Cream blush down here, so I'm like, I feel like this is a sign I should pull this. This is in the shade Golden Hour. I honestly feel like this would pair really nicely with the Kosas like powder duo, so I'm gonna pull this one from Melt. And then I will also pull Lawless Angel Suede. I do like to pair this with the Lawless Truth. This is what Angel Suede looks like. It's a really beautiful matte blush. And then I like to top it with Nabla Truth. So I'll pull that. Hopefully that didn't break. Okay, way back here, I had recluttered this from MAC back into my collection. And I need to decide if this is something actually, I don't feel like I care to keep this. I'm decluttering them. Okay, is there anything else I want to grab? I think maybe I'll also grab MAC So Natural. Actually no, because I'm trying to focus on the Patrick Ta. Maybe I should just call it good for blush. Maybe we can just call it good. Do I want to grab Pillow? Oh, that's a highlighter. This is in the wrong drawer. Do I call it good? Maybe I just call it good for blush. Okay, we're closing the drawer. Okay, we are on to highlighter. What do I want to do for highlight? Maybe I'll pull Makeup by Mario. Is it Pearl? This is a little bit more subtle, and I feel like it's been a bit since I've reached for this. I also feel like I need to decide if I want to keep this or declutter this to my daughter. It's one of the Flower Beauty highlights. It's really beautiful, but I honestly just don't know if it's something that I need to keep in my collection. And then I think the other thing I want to pull, I actually liked this when I first started trying it. I know this is such a polarizing product. It's the Patrick Ta Highlighting Duo. I have the shade Baby, so I'm gonna pull this and see if I was just like, you know, not with it when I was testing it, or if I do truly like this. I feel like that's on the chopping block a bit for me. And now I feel like we have way too many highlights, so, oh, but I do kind of want to pull this one from Dior, which I love so much, but I feel like actually I should pull this first, just because it's been longer since I've reached for Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, so I'll pull this. And then we really need to be good with the highlight drawer. All right, moving on to this drawer, we have lip liners, which I really kind of just grab lip liners as I go. So I'm not gonna grab any lip liners to focus on. I think maybe I will grab this blush duo from Natasha Denona. I remember this is something I was considering decluttering last year, and then I ended up pulling it out and couldn't stop using it. And then I finally put it away, and I don't think I've reached for it again since. So I'm gonna pull this back out, see if it's something I do still wanna keep. And then I definitely want to pull my, Evil Eye palette from Hourglass. This was one of the holiday releases this year, and I've been really excited for warmer weather to get to pull this. Honestly, I could probably wait a month, but I'm really excited to reach for this one, so I'm gonna pull that. And then I do want to grab one NARS face palette, and I think I'm gonna grab Overlust, because I feel like these more muted colors will be good for May, and then I'll want something a little bit more rich for this actual summer. Although I do really like these highlights for the summer as well. Anyway, I'm gonna pull NARS Overlust. And then we get into all of my like lipsticks and lip products. I don't need to pull any, I don't think I need to pull any eye products. Here would be like, I have brows, boring liners, and then like random eyeshadow like single products. Maybe I'll pull this from Surat. This feels like it's broken. Oh, I see, it's literally completely dried out. That's crazy. Oh, that makes me so sad. Okay, well, I guess that's getting decluttered. So good to know. Okay, maybe the one thing I will pull here is I'm gonna pull these like this loose glitter from, I think, Pat McGrath. Yes, this is the Angel Dust Loose Glitter. I need to figure out if I truly want this or not. And then after I do that, I will pull this next month to see if I want this loose glitter, but we'll pull Angel Dust for now. Okay, we have new drawers to focus on, and honestly, it doesn't feel the most overwhelming. I think blush and highlight definitely feel like I've picked the most, but I'm really excited to finally have a new makeup rotation. I feel like I've been so focused on the new products coming in. I'm very excited to kind of get back to my old collection and start to use and love my products again. So that is it for today's Shop My Stash. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Leave me a comment, let me know what you're focused on in the month of May, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!